Okay. So I would like to what we spoke. First, I would like to start with a little joke that I've heard, and it's important because of what will follow soon. So it says Vayuva Avrom nispo et lesoro velivkoiso. So it says livkoiso with a small chof. The chof is small. Livkoiso it is a small chof. So the question is, what is this small chof? Why is it written with small chof? So there is a tool. Somebody I didn't see it inside, but Rabbi Daphne told me that livkoiso. So it's with a small chof. The tool says that because why did she die? So the tool explains because she said at some point, Yishpo et Hashem beini uveinecho. When she argued, Vatom asor al Avrom, Chamosi olecho, Melchi Musati shipotz betekecho, Vatir ki oroso veika beineo. Yishpo et Hashem beini uveinecho. So Soroh Meinu was actually saying, like putting herself in a very vulnerable situation. Yishpo et Hashem beini uveinecho. So she puts herself in front of Hashem and asks for Hashem to be the shofet. And that's something very dangerous. You should not do that. You should never do that. You put yourself, because then Hashem says, okay, I will in Mishpot, let's see who is going to be winning. And by tzaddikim, when they do such a thing, that when Sholem judges you even on a Chut Asar, and therefore Livkoiso is they cried for her, but the cry was a bit less because she was not Ma'avet Esatzmo, like a suicide, like she did not die a natural death, but she died something that caused herself. She caused herself to die.
It wasn't a heart attack?
What? Yeah. Chazal explained because of the Akedas Yitzchok. Yeah, but the Tur gives another explanation. So he gives the explanation that it's because she said Yishpo et Hashem beinu v'necho. You should never put yourself in front of Hashem and say, Hashem, please judge me. That's what we always explain, that the Yispalel is something, that davening is something dangerous originally. That because when you daven, you are telling Hashem, here I am, this is what I need, please give it to me. So you're calling Hashem to look at you, and then you're telling him this is what you need, and then Hashem has to judge whether you need it, you deserve it, and then you put yourself into a vulnerable situation. That's why only Nevi'im daven and not.
That's why we daven in the minyan.
Sorry, that's why we daven in minyan more as a tzibur. We don't daven as an individual, but we daven in tzibur. And you should never daven for yourself, but you should daven for the tzes, etc. There's a lot. I'm not going to give you the shir on davening.
But didn't Yaakov Avinu want to live that way, the Midas Sadin?
Midas Sadin, maybe, but yeah, maybe. But that's then you have to live it up. Then you have to tackle it. That means that he's not even the Chut Asar. You have to be mamish bedikduk mamish. That's interesting. I find it for the tour very, what do you call it, quite revolutionary, because it puts Soroh in an interesting position.
I heard of Pshat, a small false because Avram didn't want to cry even, because he saw her in heaven, how she was dancing with all the Hasidus.
Yeah.
So, but the world would say, I'm not going to cry, so
he cried a little bit. Yeah. It is, there is a Mokum Menachem Mesrem. So I heard it mamash in a video that Rabbi Badi Yosef explains Mokum Menachem Mesrem, that the Mokum, the place where the Nifter is, when you will see, if you would know where she is, you would be Menuchem, you will not cry. That's exactly what you just said. That the Hamokum is the place where she is now. Yenachem Mesrem should be your Nichum, because you know she's in a good place. And therefore, that's how he explained the Hamokum Yenachem Mesrem. It's exactly the same as what you say. Yeah, but it's an interesting ashkapetic thing. Do we cry? Should we really cry dead or not? Is it only for the covet of the niftar? But what? Sorry,
we're not allowed to cry a lot.
No,
First 3 days.
Yeah, but the question is then how does it work? And it's an ashkopetic, a lot of ashkope here as well. Okay, so I Friday night, and I will go through it a little bit slower in things, and then I will go over to something very interesting in Simno Yot Chotachas Yerechi, There's a few things which I already said, and some new things that I will mention. But let's go first to the story. So there's a very interesting story. Avrom bows down to the Bnei Ches. Vayokom Avrom vayishtachavu la'amores Bnei Ches, and he asked them to bury his dead. And then the Ephron answers, 1 second, you're asking to bury your dead. You should get also, I will give you also this there. You should be wanting this, the Sodeh also, the whole field in which the Mare is. And so Avrom went, Vayishtachu Avrom lifnei Amoretz. And he says the second time there's an Ishtachavot. So the question is why twice? The first time that the Levnei Ches, there were no big tzaddikim. So Vayishtachu is a kind of protocol. I understand there's a protocol, you do it, you make Ishtachavot. But the second time, this is already, why does Avrom have to do Ishtachavot for people that were probably out there with the Soroh? Why this second Ishtachavot? So a lot of them, I mean, I've seen answering that, yeah, that like this, we have the land of Hebron belongs to us, and probably so that when we come to visit, there should be a parking lot for the buses. Yeah, you should have enough place for the buses to put to bring the tourists that want to come to be Oile Regel kind of in the Moras HaMachpelah. But there is a Manitou. He gives something very interesting how he describes the story. He says that we have to remember that Avrom was, and this is how I added it on in the Manitou, but Avrom was a shepherd. We already explained you the difference between a shepherd is somebody that is not bound to a land. Yeah. So the moment that there is no grass, he goes and he goes to another land, and if the land, the nation is not big enough, there's not enough, so he goes to it. He's even willing to move to Mitzrayim, wherever it is. There's no difference. He's not bound to any land. But a farmer is somebody that is bound to a land. A farmer, he loves his land, he works on the land, he has attached to the land, he would kill for even a centimeter of the land. He would not be willing to give up his land. The land becomes his life and his identity. Sorry?
It's another job.
It's another job, but it's also another attitude. It's a completely different attitude. He's bound, and we shall see. And Avrom comes and he says that I want to buy the Mara, the cave. And so Ephron tells him, I don't understand. What Ephron was basically saying is that soil is only good to bury down Kvorim, bury Mason. That's what the soil is good for. What about the life, the living, the life, the soda, what is all on top of the thing? And so he gave him Musar to Avrom. And so Avrom said, you're right. Avrom kind of acknowledged, and he said, okay, I'll take the land. And he realized that there is a change in attitude that Avrom must have, that he has to go from this separate attitude to a more farmer attitude and appreciate the land for what it is, the soda for what it is. The concept of a city with the farmer created, and the farmer created a concept of city, of system with walls and system to protect ourselves, while the shepherds are free people that can run wherever they want. They don't let their sheep with them. They can go in any land. They are not so bound to cities and etc. And so this is the first time that Avrom realized that there is a change in his attitude that must happen, and therefore Vayishtachu Avrom lifnei Am Ha'oret, that he bowed down in front of the Am Ha'oret, of the land, because this concept that he appreciated the Musar and he accepted it. It didn't really last very long, in the sense that Avrom didn't do anything with the land, and he never purchased more land, and only Yitzchak tried, went to the business of farming, but he was very successful, but it didn't last in the family because the uncle went back into being a shepherd.
I mean, I can already correct.
Yeah.
When you bury, still here, You don't bury it because you are nomad going anywhere. No, you do it because you know the future.
That will be my land. Yeah.
So it's not related to the fact of.
No, but he didn't work the land. Did not work the land. Was after the Gonecho, that the whole mitzvah of Yishuv Solit was after the Gonecho. We don't hear that Avram stayed there and he wanted to be kind of the mitzvah of Parish and Zriya and Tzira.
The realization of the format will be after. So he has nothing to do right now.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but Avram, it was symbolic. It was very symbolic of what Ephron was telling him, that the soil is not here just to bury the dead, as unfortunately a lot of people they have. It's only to send the coffin. But they send the coffin there. That's basically what Ephron was telling him, according to Manitou. I don't know. It sounds very. It sounds nice in the text, because he also says the Shar Ir. The concept of the Ir and the concept of Amho Ores points out that this is their identity, city people and Ores, land, while shepherd is more about sheep and other things.
I mean, later on, when the descendants of Ram they throw them away and they kill them. So now you ban in front of the people that would be killed in the. For me, it doesn't make any sense. It's like Palestinians today going and say, "Oh, to the Jews, are you so good?" And no, they want to kill you. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay. First of all, before you have another question.
I have a question. Wanting to buy a whole block. I mean, what about Noah? Although there was never issue, but someone away and bury.
Noah and
the first one, you want to buy a block. Why was it?
But in the days of Adam, he owned all the land.
So I've heard that in Canaan they were the Soroh, right? And so he was afraid that they will create a Soroh mausoleum building on top. And so he said, "No, I'm looking now for where I can bury her in a mare under the ground and not over the ground, because the danger was that they will tell her to bury, or they will build a house, something like today." It is the house. Yeah. And so therefore the idea, Avram was afraid of that, because and therefore he looked specifically for Mara. You have to understand also the way that they buried was very different than we do today. Today we bury in one. At the time they used to bury in two steps. There was first they used to put them in marble, a hole, until the liquid flesh is gone. And they used to do a 6-part tumors, and they put in a little coffin. I don't know if you were in the Jerusalem, in the museum of Jerusalem. They had hundreds. They don't know where to put them. They found hundreds of beautiful little coffins, but small. So they think, no. These are the bones that could be put in there, that were collected and then put in small, and then this was buried. What? In the big museum, in the museum, I think it was in the museum of the, what's called? Of the scrolls. I think I saw it there. Yeah, next to the Knesset, yeah. And I saw suddenly, and then they bring down Taku Apostle, or I don't remember where, the second burial. That they were always, the burial used to be in two steps. First one was to put in the mare, like this, all the liquid comes out. Very unpleasant. Also, we still had appetite, but what?
There was too much people with time.
Yeah.
So they had to do that to free
the places, to make it smaller. Yeah. But there's also possible. Anyway, that's why it's a mare. A mare normally is only a first step, but he thinks that this is the last step or so. So I don't know how she's buried, if it's just in a hole and then the bones are there, or I don't know. No. You're right. No, but just the bones, and then it was the bones that were supposed to be put. Yeah. No, but he had two burials. I don't know. If you have to go there and you see it, and then suddenly you realize that there is always one. They bring down on a big level, and they bring down, which proves this point that we don't do it. So, so that's the and to answer what was your question. Your question was that So basically, the Torah himself says that the Averos of the Shiva Amim were not big enough. So it's not like theoretically they could do tshuva and then we would have a different approach. So it was not. But theoretically, that's what Manito always says, that every time there is a bechira, Shiva Amim had a bechira to make tshuva, and then we would have to live with them. Sorry? No. He was fighting, and there was one. Then it seen him. They made a trick, and then he promised them. But normally he killed them all. I already gave one to steer on that because if you look in, there is a change in narrative between Shemois and the Borim. In Shemois, it's a more lotion of placing them out of the land. It's placing them. That was supposed to be ethnic cleansing, but with the displacement. Says that they have to be, if they were still with Zor, then you have to go away. It says also, Rashtem says Rashi, Rashtem. Hirush means sending away, not killing, sending away, attacking them, and that's why in Chazal it says that they were not allowed to circle them in the fort, they had to leave a fort side free so that they can escape. But Moshe Rabbeinu, for some reason, maybe he understood the danger, and he says, "Achim tachim," and Loitechai kol nishkoma. So there is here a difference in narrative between Moshe Rabbeinu and in Sefer Shmois and Sefer Amidbar. Possible that Moshe meant don't run away, then you have to destroy them. It's possible, but it seems from the. I mean, if they still do another Zur, yeah. They make tshuva, that. From the Pasuk is not mashma like that. From the Pasuk is mashma. In any case, you have to because he says by the Chemes Mitzvah, you have to do it. If they are doing stolen with you, they give up, then you're not allowed to kill them, and you have to take compensation money. But for the Shiva Amim, it says no. There you have to achim tachim. But we learn the Torah Shebal Peh learns that even in the Shiva Amim, if even Amalek wants to take tshuva, you have to, and Amalek, normally we learn Amalek is you have to destroy. But no, you have to give him a chance to make tshuva. Yeah, but it was because they didn't make tshuva. They didn't make tshuva, and therefore, apparently, it's in Torah Shebal Peh. So Torah Shebal Peh gives the Amalek and the Shiva Amim a chance, a humanistic chance to make tshuva. And tshuva does not mean that they have to convert it. It just means to leave barbarism, to live with laws and live a bit more decent, become decent people, dignified people. That's all. Not become Jewish. And you have to understand the Shiva Amim were barbaric people. And they were like Dom, they were barbaric. And this is what the Meiri says, so terrible because they are barbaric. And I mean barbaric is we don't know anymore. I mean, besides the Germans during the Second World War, but type of barbarism, and probably even worse. So there they did it hiding. The Germans were a bit, you understand? And there it was like a culture of what? Come out. Hamas is proud of it. Oh, exactly. I'm sorry. The whole world, that's what I'm saying. The barbarism, that's it, the Zor. But the Zor is barbarism. That's the Meiri that says that. Okay, it's another. I like the viewpoint, and we see also Maki Tzedek, Cornelio, and we saw that there were. I don't know. You're right. Maybe.
Christian point of view. I mean, maybe.
maybe, but this is the way that I understood, and now you're challenging me, and I don't mind to think it through, maybe for another year, if I find some more material about that. That's interesting. But I said the same on the striking versus the Pushkin also, like a bit more. That's okay. Um, so, so the concept of farmers versus shepherds, I just wanted to give you a bit of a chidush that I would like to put forward. I spoke about it on Friday night very quickly. I would like to repeat it, but maybe a little bit slower. So we find in the Torah that you have farmers and then you have the shepherds. We were always shepherds from nature, and then we have to become farmers. So start to the Gonero, the Torah says it's the mitzvah that say, we start to to work the land. It's part of our identity, but it should also be shepherds as we were. And the idea is that those two attitudes, those two vision of the world, have to live together, but not merge together. So they're not allowed to blend and create a hybrid. Shepherd must remain a shepherd. Shepherd is somebody that's dynamic, adaptive, what we can call today progressive. Is somebody who is, how do you call it, innovative in finding solutions. Sorry? Takes opportunity, purely looks for the opportunity, and if he's there not, then he can go somewhere else. While the farmer is bound, and the farmer is what we call enraciné, rooted. He's very much rooted into and enraciné means also very much into conservative. So this is how it was, and they are very much into defending the culture of the land.
Okay? So it was a blessing for.
Sorry?
It was a blessing for all the Jews, not their own land in Europe. But
yeah.
we weren't attached to the.
Then we weren't attached to the.
Free.
Yeah. And so in the time, the day we had to do the opposite. We were shepherds, and Hashem had to convince us to become farmers. And that's the difficult. Some say this is the reason, I mean, that's what I say, some is me, that is the reason why we had to go through time for 400 years, is to try to forget and to learn how to build cities. This is, we'll have, once we go to Episode, we can't all be shepherds. We have to build cities, we have to structure, we have to know how to, architecture and all these things. And it took a while to strip us from this shepherd attitude and skills to farm as well.
They were
Yeah, but then this is not a good thing, and so therefore Hashem made that they should become slaves and start building cities, some states. In other words, to learn urban what do you call it? Urban skills, whatever you want to do it, urban development. No. But the Eretz Goshen was grassland, and so it was perfect for the sheep. So we continue being shepherds, and this is not good because we have to become farmers. So Hashem, we didn't understand that, and Hashem said, okay, if you don't understand, I will force you. And so we became slaves, and we started to help in the farming and in the building, which is not something that shepherds do. So we have to learn to change the mindset. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to separate those two, and we see the separation very much in the sharpness. So the sharpness is the symbol of where Hashem shows us, I don't want you to blend. I want you to live one next to another, but not to blend you into one cloth or one thread. I don't want this to happen, and therefore this is called the sharpness. But like I said, the only place where sharpness is allowed to, and it has to be, is in the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash, for Godel has to wear sharpness, because the Beis Hamikdash unifies. It's the unification of all the different winds. Yeah, and then somebody asked me, I think you asked me, sisters. Somebody else asked me, sisters, when? Yesterday? Yeah, but last night somebody else asked me. I told you, sisters is mamish like the tits of the Kohen Gadol. The sisters is the tits, veiled like the tits of the Kohen Gadol has veiled. So this is the sisters is like a malbush from Kohen Gadol. And so there you're allowed to have sharpness, because part of like the Migdosh, a little, like a mini Migdosh that you are, a mini item of the Migdosh you are carrying.
Or the-
What?
activity.
What?
Raise it, have the activity.
Ah, that's new. That's I've never heard. Ah, okay. This I never heard of. Okay, maybe it's something that can be googled after. Um, that's the way of the separation. Another point, the second separation, which I said yesterday, was in Parshas Mishpotim. I wanted to. It's a very interesting. Those who learned the Buddhist, I don't remember which one. Those who learned the Buddhist, it says like that: it takes the age. Somebody put out a fire. Umotto koitim. Menech al godish or yakomo or yasode. Shalom mishalom mavir et aveiro. Yes, to pay whatever you do. How do you call it? Damage. So if you make a fire, so, that's the posuk, one posuk before. Yaver ish tode by keren v'shtilach es be'iroi. Iro means his flock, behemoth, yeah, the flock. What do you call that? The flock of animals. Ubir b'zeacha meitav sodeu meitav kamo yishalem. But there is an extra punishment that if a shepherd harms a farmer, then Hashem says that the punishment is harsher. A shepherd that's from another.
Doesn't have a problem. Shepherd usually doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't have field, so he has to go. So, but don't go into private field. Go like he said, go into public into the healthcare field, but don't go without permission. Otherwise, you have to pay. But then the Torah gives an extra interesting. The Torah gives you an extra punishment. Meitav todeo, meitav karma yisham. The Boy is very particular in defending the farmers from the shepherds. To separate them and make sure that they have that they live together and that the one is careful on the other, because there is what we call the shepherd says on the farmer that he's a boor, a poor, a boor, and the poor says on the shepherd that is a gamer, somebody. Yeah, they don't like each other. Mitzrayim hated the shepherd. So here you have.
With the highest rabbit for
Yeah.
That's 4 or 5.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe both have to keep your hands from yourself.
Private property.
Private property. Shepherd and the farmers, they don't like each other. And so the Torah says if the shepherd does something wrong to the farmer, then he has to pay more than if one farmer does with another farmer, for example. You know what I'm saying? So there is here a disproportionate punishment, which seems to be trying to help us in. But there is another one. What is the link between the shepherd and the farmer? The link is the grass. The grass is what links the shepherd from the farmer. The farmer needs the grass, and therefore the grass is what links them. They both have one. The farmer gives the grass, and the shepherd needs the grass. So the grass is what binds them together. This is what the Yoshibet Soloveitchik says, that the Korban Pesach is when we celebrate our becoming a nation, we celebrate it by eating those three things together, as Hillel says. Why? They have to eat them together because the meat represents the shepherd, the matzah represents the farmer, and the grass, the moor is the grass, represents what binds them together. And so you eat all three of them, you have to eat them in one sandwich. This is what the Bishop Soloveitchik kind of to show in the beginning of our creation of our nation that we know we are separate, but we are also united in the Korban Pesach. Through the Korban Pesach, we know that we are one nation, but Moshe wants us to keep separate, to each one of us bring what it has to bring. I told you also that the Shemitah is the time when the behemoths are allowed to, the shepherd is allowed to enter your land. So once every 7 years, the shepherd is, the farmer is not allowed to defend his property, and he has to let it free, and all the animals must be allowed to enter. So you see here, on one hand, we see the separation, and on the other hand, we see sometimes in some periods in the year, like Pesach, and also we see a unification on Mitzvah, where they become together. You can continue because because the farmer is the house. The house is important, and for the shepherd, it's the sukkah. His house is never a house. A shepherd never builds a house. He builds a sukkah. It's a dirat arai, and it says sukkah is that Yaakov Avinu built sukkahs for his animals.
So how do you explain what the sign of the Merachim when they said the Heles Yosheo?
Oh, okay. And then what do you want to say here? That
Yeah, Yosheo means
sitting in the pig. So
our aim was to become farmers.
yeah. So this is their critique. They were afraid to become farmers, and it's also what Haftarki says that you become boeren, boeren in the sense, the creative sense, not only the literal sense. You lose intellectuality somehow. The being a farmer too long is not good because you call that you live, you have intercourse with the land. Yeah, and you are busy with the land, and you become boer. The concept of a boer is not sorry? Yeah. Yeah, a shepherd has time to think. He is like he stands on a. I always have this stick, and he puts his gun and he looks in the. But the dogs are. He has time. What? Sorry? Yeah. They just have to walk, and he has time. The farmer is a lot of work. It's manual labor. I mean, there is programs, no boom. Oh, I didn't see it, but there is this, you have this. It's a lot of work. Early morning to late night. It's difficult if you live with the nature. The idea of the house. That's why very interesting. On Shabbos it says Al Yetze Ish Min Koimoy, and on Yom Tov you have to go out. Interesting. The two, which I believe is also based on the farming and the shepherd. Also on Pesach it says Lo Yisoytzim Min Habayis Chutzah. There is a concept of Lo Yisoytzim Min Habayis Chutzah, and on Sukkot it says no, you have to go out of the house. Sukkot is the opposite of Pesach, going out of the house into a shepherd's house, to the Sukkot. So you see here the different human toivim that are based. One is more for the farming, one is more for the shepherd. Shabbos is more for whatever, for maybe for the farmers, and Yom Tov is more for to celebrate the shepherd. In any case, this is the concept of between farmers and shepherds. So we can say that the farmers are the ones that are more rooted into the land, therefore also more conservative and more static. They don't change. It was like that. It was always like that. These are the rules of my land. These are the rules of our nation. The shepherds are more the adaptive. You can call them the progressive forces in the land, the political progressive forces. They're more dynamic. I even wanted to say that maybe the Prushim are the shepherds and the Tzedekим are the farmers. Yeah, the ones that keep to the tradition as it was. The Prushim are the ones that no, we have to adapt and we have to be dynamic, and if the situation changes, then we have to change the situation as it is. And Tzedekim were more the aristocracy, landowners.
In the Pushim.
Oh, no. The Pushim, I mean, originally from Antignois. Comment? Non, je vais le développer. J'ai développé ça un peu. Je dis la vérité, I asked ChatGPT if I'm right, and he gave me a whole, and I couldn't print it, but he gave me a whole very nice idea. Sorry? The Ashkova of the question is that from now on, the Mastoires of the Nevi'im stop, and now the Rabbonim take over. So it is the intellect that rules. What we do today, we are the push. Yeah. However, from the hotspot, right? Yeah. However, the Chassam Sofer made us back to become like, because he does not allow any more to change. Yeah. Yeah, of course, because that was against reform. Because reform went pushing to the times 100. Too much change. That went again. Yeah, it's at some point they lost completely the way that they understood it. And so he had to barricade the Torah and says, no, we're not changing anymore. Because it used to change continuously. Rabbonim had power to change. But because of the change, and people took over, and then they changed also without having Yiras Shamayim, but just to make it easier for the people. And that's not the right way to change. You have to change it with to increase Yiras Shamayim, but also after Rachu Komoicho. So, and so therefore, we don't change anymore because, and we do, the truth is, there's a lot of halachas that change, and but we always claiming that we don't change. But, you know what I mean? It's like, it's the same. I always say that this is what the Kabbalah, when they always say Kabbalah versus halacha, halacha is stronger. The halacha, and we never change halacha because of Kabbalah. That's how the rule is. But the practice, we say, yeah, no, you change. Follow Kabbalah, not halacha. Yeah, there's a lot of things that the halacha took that we don't do. It's Kabbalah, although it's mafurish in the halacha not to do it. So, but we claim always.
Follow Kabbalah and
Maybe, but Misnagim they also follow the Arizal. Today everybody follows the Arizal, and there's hardly any difference. And this is maybe also the Torah and Torah, but I'm not going to. I just wanted to. And then there's the third one somebody mentioned here. It was Micha, I think. I asked what is the third group missing, and I will just mention it. Because I want to give next week a shiur on Rabbi Shimon Raphael on the concept of the derech and how to treat. But it's more than of the derech because it's generically it's a very nice theory which he has, and it's quite complex. When he came to Antwerp, this I didn't know, but it was nice his speech. You were there; it was nice, but I found a bit. It was nothing innovative. And apparently, and this is what I heard firsthand, apparently the Rabbonim did not allow him to say a lot of things. So he was going to say a lot of things, and they did not allow him. There was even a parent in him against his thing, so they managed to convince him. And therefore, because I felt that the shiur was a bit, no, it didn't fit. Like he was speaking about connection. Okay, makes sense when you listen to it, but once you heard this other shiurim, suddenly I realized that the shiur is really a part of a bigger, like two pieces of a puzzle that is like in the middle. Don't know what it is because if you don't have the frame and don't have the picture, therefore I would like to next week. It's very interesting because it really taught me a lot, and I would like to share it with you. The idea was that was Esau of the derech. So that was the idea, and I will. But because already Friday night somebody told there is a third group that we didn't mention. We have the group of the farmers, and the group of the shepherds. And what is the third group? Do you remember? What last night? Don't remember. What? Ah, yeah, two nights. Yeah.
That's why I
Friday,
don't
yeah. Yeah. What? No. So what is you have the shepherds and the hunter, the hunter. The hunter is also a very important part of people. They are hunters. They are not shepherds, they are not farmers, but they are hunters.
No, before civilization, you had hunters.
Yeah.
Once you start to
Okay.
go with this,
Yeah.
then you have that's the evolution.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not going now to the, but you're right. But in any case, Esau and Ishmael were hunters. This is what was called about them. So I had this morning a chiddush I would like to share with you, which I will probably repeat next week again, but because you see that who sends away. So Esau and Ishmael were hunters. We're not farmers and we're not shepherds. And it's clear that a hunter, that for Klal Yisrael, the farming and shepherd, this is good quality, but hunters not, because we are not here. A hunter, what does the hunter do? He enjoys expansionism, killing, expansionism, to be challenged on the fight, on the it's not a Jewish way. And it's not what we are. We have to be a small holy nation, but not be expansionistic, universal. little bit, we can take a little bit from Ammon and Moya of what David HaMelech did, but it's not what the Bonshom was upset on him, that he did not first, you have to take the land, and then you can think of it. That's why it's called Surya. It's only the Rabbonon, the anyway, the hunters is a very important part, and Esav and Ishmael were hunters. And therefore, they were excluded from being part of the Jewish nation, because the hunters are not called Jewish. We have to lead the nation through role model, not through jihad. Yeah, we have to remain in our land and do it, and to show the land, we have to what is called the pulling and not pushing. We have to pull the Goyim to come to Yerushalayim, but not to push our beliefs into the other nations through a jihad. That maybe there is a Rambam which might be against what I'm just saying, but for the moment, let's keep it there. And the chiddush that I had this morning was very interesting. Who sent away those Esav and Ishmael? Mothers. Why? Because according to evolution, men are hunters. So Avraham liked Ishmael because he was a hunter. And Yitzchak liked Esav because he was a hunter. So male have a preference. When they see a hunter, they like them because we men are by definition hunters. Women are not hunters. And so Rivka and so in Ishmael, this hunting is not what she liked. Therefore, she said, out of here. You understand what I'm saying? It's the thing that I had this morning that I wanted to share with you. Why exactly the male liked Ishmael and Esau? Because they were hunters, and for male hunters is a spit, but for female hunters is not a spit, and the female understand better what the qualities of how to.
The hunting is not a similar to bring down.
Yeah, today.
The beginning of time, they knew them.
Yeah.
They knew them.
That's what he said. That's what he said. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you aware, and I think it's first what you just said, can go to the feminine. Why women want to follow the hunter? Because when you in terms of hunter, the men were listening to everything as the first has to submit to anything of the men was looking at for farmer is civilization. When it comes to civilization, women have their word.
Yeah.
And they can make work. They say one day, sitting there in the blue, you think.
Yeah.
You know, but they said that you want to throw away the person that will bring back the masculinity and you want to put the
But in any case, this is a theory. Maybe it's the wrong theory, but this is what I would like to introduce. The Bonshloim, why do we know that the Bonshloim does not like hunting in general? And this is from the simple fact that you're not allowed to eat a trepo. Anche kodesh tionli, bosa batu the trepo lo chelu. Hunter, how does he hunt? He kills the animal. But if you kill the animal, you can't eat it. And so the Bonshloim says, I want to avoid hunting. I cannot stop it because it's not an issue to hunt, but it's not a Jewish thing to do. And the proof is the Bonshloim makes it very hard for us because a Jewish hunter is a completely different hunter than a Goyish hunter. A Jewish hunter has to go and make traps. A different approach. Has to remain. He has to be healthy. You have to capture it with not too harming him, any little harm, and it's safer. Yeah, if he gets a knack, he's not allowed to eat it anymore. And so therefore, the Jewish hunting is it's like nearly impossible. Bonshloim knew that there's going to be Yiddish hunting.
How do you
understand? Through tricks. What?
bulls? We keep them open? We hunt them? Like,
No, I don't know.
or do we keep them in?
Don't know.
There's so much meat that needs
They practical.
really being used.
For the meat is more for the milk and probably and and for the leather. Yeah, I don't know. In any case, the idea is that this is we see clearly the boss of Asuda. That's why it says Anshe Kodesh Tionli, Dafke Babus of Asuda Trefulo Estafelo. Because this is really the third category. Anshe Kodesh, don't be hunters. Hunters is not part of the Anshe Kodesh that that's how I would. This is the chiddush I would like to use here a little bit also in the element of the hunt.
another big group. But in the matter, through the whole rest, we have a group who was in the before. And
So this is the cleric. So there's a lot more. So I asked ChatGPT, give me then a list. So I gave him the hunters and the farmers and the shepherds. Do I miss? And then he gave me the craftsmanship, the one that know how to.
And make a comment.
And what? Sorry. And the traders, very important, the traders, and also indeed the clergy and the people that worship the spiritual. What? Sorry. Plekoiders, yeah. But I think these have to remain minorities. These are service organizations, service people. But the majority has to be farmers or shepherds and not hunters. That's the way. Oh, sorry.
They don't have 20. I can't say give them that if they're people spread with the
Okay. I won't have the time anymore. Maybe I will jump very briefly on the Shvuah. So now that we've seen that, the Shvuah, the Ron says, first I'll give you a hint that I've said, and I have not found it yet in how the others explain it. We find it only 2 times in the whole Torah. Avram did it, and Yaakov did it as well. And we don't find the whole Tanakh. There is no concept of Simno Yotcho Tachat Yirechi. Put your hand on the roof. You have to put your hand and hold the I don't know, hold the genitals. I guess that you have to hold the genitals and make a shvuah. We don't find it. We do find it in Chazal, but only in the Gemara. So we don't find it in the Mishnah. The whole Masechet Shvuah does not mention Nikita Sefet. There's no mentioning at all of Nikita Sefet in the Masechet Shvuah. You won't find it. It's only in the Gemara. Yeah. We do it Sefer. So I have a chiddush I will share with you, and I have a chiddush like that. That the idea of the shvuah has to be, if the shvuah has to be b'shem Hashem, then did Avraham know the Shem of Hashem? Did he know the name of Hashem, how to pronounce it? Oh, so there are normally yes, but the posuk. So in you read the posuk as it is written, not as maybe as Rashi wants to explain. Vo'ero el Avrom, it says in Parshas Vo'ero, that's why Vo'ero el Avrom and Yitzchak veYaakov vekel Shakai. I only presented myself vekel Shakai. Ushni Hashem lo nodati lohem. So if you read it textually, Avrom did not know the name of Hashem. Maybe he knew Yud Kei Vav Kei, but didn't know how to pronounce it. That's the chiddush. So we didn't know how to pronounce it, and they had only the name, or the Benedrut says only the Shem Etzem, not the Shem Toya. I don't know. We have all kind of shtukim that is in Parshas Vayero that already gave a shir about that. And maybe he only knew the Adonai and not the Yud Kei Vav Kei. He only knew the. But in any case, so when he says Vashbiachu Hashem, it cannot mean Hashem as we know it. So it seems that Obed did not know the name of Hashem. And since the shvuah has to be in the name of Hashem, how did they do it? So they used an item, give it an item, so Chazal speak an item of Kedusha, whatever. It's an item. I gave it a more Kabbalistic approach, that it is the 3 middle parts, which is the Aleph Mem Shin, the Emes kind of, the 3 middle parts, the Keter, the Tiferet, and the Yesod, and you have to hold it there in order to swear on the middle part of Hashem. This is a shir which I already gave a few times, but this had to happen in a time when we don't know the name of Hashem. Now, in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, we knew the name of Hashem, right? So we don't have to do Nikita Sefer. We know the name of Hashem. In the time of the Mishnah, we knew the name of Hashem. It says that in the time of Shimon HaTzadik, they stopped doing Nesias Kapayim with the name of Hashem, and they used the name Abnu. So they changed Yud Kei Vav Kei into what we do, Abnu. So that's how they do Nesias Kapayim. Only the Kohen Gadol still on Yom Kippur pronounce the name of Hashem. The second Beit HaMikdash. At the time of Rabbi Tarfon, from Rabbi Akiva, time of Rabbi Tarfon, they stopped even that. So the Kohen Gadol stopped saying the name of Hashem. So there was never any more mentioned the name of Hashem. And it makes sense. At some point we forgot. We don't know anymore the name of it. We don't know today. Nobody knows how to pronounce Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. What the Goyim say Yehovah, that is, we don't know.
When we hear about the Hashem, what about they knew one of the names?
No, they knew the letters, but they do not know how to pronounce it. Pronunciation, we don't know. We don't know the exact pronunciation, as it, how to read it. Nobody knows how to the nikud of these 4 letters. Yeah, I gave a shir here. The Ibn Ezra tried, maybe it's E-I-A-U, but he retracts himself from a big because it's not. No, because they make a mistake. They make a mistake.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to say it the way they're going.
Yeah, we are, because it's only when it's printed in the Chumash, it's printed with a Vov or Oi and an O. Yeah, it's when you see in the print in all the Chumoshim that are correct, it's and O. Yeah, and O, and it's with yeah, and O. And then Oi or Vo. Yeah? I said it before, but maybe I should not say it. But in any case, this is the same letter, the same nikud as Adonai, which has been taken over. So Betem is the is Betem A, but since there is Apidigdok or Yud cannot be A with the.
Why did the Chacham away?
What?
Why did the early Chacham take away?
No, maybe we forgot it. We forgot it. Rabbi Tarfon stopped from pronouncing it.
Why?
Because we were not holy, it was a tumor. It was we abused it. The other no.
No.
Ah, donc ce nom a changé. Ah, ce n'est plus relevant. Ce nom n'est plus relevant. Okay, very nice. I never heard of this, but it's a nice possibility. His name changed, and therefore his name was not relevant, and they stopped it. And since then, we even forgot it. And since we forgot it in the time of the Gemara, how do we make a Shem Hashem? So we hold the Sefer Torah, because in the Sefer Torah is the name of Hashem. Or this Sefer Torah is the name of Hashem, as the Ramban explains, Maharal, that the letters of the Torah make one big name of Hashem. Yeah, that Shem Hashem Ekho Koydel Elokeinu, when you learn Torah, when you pronounce the name of Hashem. So therefore, it started off in the time when they did not know how to pronounce it. Then it stopped during a whole period of the Tanakh till Rabbi Tarfon, when the Mishnah, when they knew the name of Hashem. But after the Mishnah, when they didn't know the name of Hashem anymore, then we went back to the Nikita paper that we have to hold something, and not anymore the lucky for us. Don't have to hold. And we can hold the Sefer. I think it's much more hygienic. But so what? Sorry.
I think it's both hygienic for the one that do this.
Yeah, and both. Yeah, I agree with you. Both the Nishba and the Machliach.
In time of the first there was no square on.
Yeah, maybe, but it's not mentioned. So my theory is, I'm just a theory, it's a chiddush I want to say, because it's not mentioned in the Mishnah. There's no Baraita in the Mishnah that speaks about Nikita paper. Baraita maybe, but the Mishnah. So according to, if you learn the Gemara, then it says yes, that it seems because it says Yishvur the Raita has Nikita. Gemara says, but why isn't it mentioned Yishvur? Why no Mishnah mentions you have to do Nikita paper? Why that been one of the most important parts? We don't mention at all. So it's just a chiddush I want to say. Maybe they didn't need to because they had the name of Hashem. But when we don't have the name of Hashem, then we could have favoritism instead of. There's a whole element that the Rashba holds that we don't have to say the name of Hashem. That a shul can be without the name of Hashem. And well, I'm not. I wanted to give a whole share on that, but I think it's too heavy. So basically, what we saw is we saw the element of why did Avraham bend down, make a shtarabot to Bnei Ches, to Ephraim, second time, when he pointed him out that he should appreciate the land more than just for burial, but to become farmers. The concept of farmers, I explained you how the Torah, we have mainly two groups, farmers and shepherds, how those two have to live together but are not allowed to blend, they have to remain separate. There are elements like Korban Pesach and like Smitha which bind them together. We saw also the hunters, this is Esau and Ishmael, that the women who appreciate, the men appreciate hunter more, and therefore for them, Esau and Ishmael were ideal people, but for the mothers who are not appreciating hunting so much, for them they understood that these two cannot be part of the Jewish nation, and indeed the Judaism does not push for hunting. As I told you, that you cannot eat hunted meat, and therefore your hunting techniques have to be, how do you call it, like hunting with the left hand, not developed as much.
According to that, the Christian tearing down something better than a bad thing.
Yeah, but killing an ari is okay,
No,
because you can kill it.
but
Killing is okay, you don't need anyway.
That they're going extinct.
Ah, that's what you mean.
If we're not hunting them, we don't need them.
We don't need them to hunting, maybe, yeah. Anyway, yeah. But it's we have to be a role model also for the other nations. I don't know. So maybe we take a zeuge to the Gula Shlema B'Meir Ob Yomeinu Amen. I think it didn't record.